I feel like it's too high.
Too high?
Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. This is my first live YouTube. I'm doing it on a computer that is not. That's good. I think that's good. Right there. Move that just ever so slightly. Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter. I know we don't have anybody on here yet, but happy Easter. I wanted to welcome you, and I wanted to say today you can ask me anything. Today you can ask whatever you want. You can ask me about Ghost Adventures and Jubilee Media. You can ask me about my mustache. You can ask me about when I was pursuing acting. You can ask me about when I was a celebrity impersonator. Today you can ask me anything. I am here and ready for you. I'm just going to look and see if I have anything on the Facebook. Commented on the link. Oh, hello, Jennifer. I see you there. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. Hello, hello. Hello, Dev. So today we're just going to be discussing anything you want. You can ask me anything, whether it be about Satanism or the occult world or how I got into it. You can ask me anything. So here we are, and I will try to tell you. So I'm going to tell you too, while we're waiting for people to type, today we're going to be discussing anything you like, but normally, hello there. Hi, hon, love the outfit. Where did you get it? The color is lovely on you. Thank you, Crystal. I got this. This is called a sherwani. It is an Indian wedding suit. Now, I got it on the wonderful world of eBay because I don't go out very frequently. I just saw the Jubilee Media you were in. Hello and welcome. Jennifer Norman asks, how did I get into the occult? Well, I got into the occult because I was raised Pentecostal. And I spent a lot of time, even as a youth, questioning and trying to figure things out. And things just weren't really, I would ask questions like, these old traditions have a man God who is crucified and is brought back. How is that? And the answer was, well, the devil knew the Bible before Jesus came on earth and he tried to poison people. So I had all these questions, questioning. That's how I started. It was just questioning. I welcome questions. Hello, Richard-Lael, says Sun Moon, Mystic Moon. Hello. Hello, gorgeous. I found you here live. Yes. Do you have a lot of mustache wax, gel, or whatever mustaches need? I have a couple of things. I have a wax, it's called Death Grip, that I use, but I also really like to use Elmer's school glue because it makes it stiff. I like that much better. Crystal says, I have an Indian sari. I love it. Happy Ostra to you. Hit the like button, people. Yes, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Jennifer says, I was raised Baptist. No one could answer my questions either. Yeah, that's true. That happens a lot, I'm afraid. It's a lot of a circular reasoning. USA girl, hi. Hi, about what will your YouTube channel? So my YouTube channel is going to be a representation of all things that make me smile. So if you get enjoyment out of it, it makes me happy. I really love that you can do that. It's really about the occult, history, art, music, entertainment, knowledge. I'm going to be reading to you and various other things that make my eyebrow rise. So that is what it is. Tinker Johnson says hello. I will tell you, while we're waiting for more people, I will tell you my deconversion story. So I told you previously that I was raised Pentecostal, and I was raised in the church. I actually studied to become a minister myself, and I was the one who was out there quoting all of the Bible verses and being really nice, but really looking at people and saying, "You're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. Oh goodness, I don't want you to burn forever." And then I realized how cruel and barbaric that was. But my father passed away when I was 25, and I moved to Vegas to pursue hair. I was a hairdresser. And I didn't have a lot of money. I moved to Vegas with very little money. And in fact, I didn't even have the money to take the bus because I really didn't have a lot of money. And I walked and I got lost. I was so physically lost. I'm sorry, my eye is watering, not for anything there. That it's just maybe the brightness. Anyway, so I was walking and I got lost. And I sat down on a bus bench and I waited, trying to figure out where I was. And I thought, sometimes I put money aside in my wallet. Sometimes maybe there might be something there. So I looked in my wallet, and sure enough, there was a $20 note. And I walked across the street, waited in line at some fast food restaurant, and I opened up the wallet, and it was a Christian tract. It was a religious bill, and it said, "Disappointed? Imagine how Jesus is disappointed. Why lay up your treasures on earth when you should store them up in heaven?" So I went back out to that bus stop, and I just was so exhausted, and I reached the cross on my neck that I'd worn since I was 15, and it felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds, and I ripped it off and I threw it in the gutter, and I felt a lot better after that. Oh yeah, I can't wait for the readings. That's going to happen too. I'm going to read some lovely books to you. I've got a plethora. Come on, people, 4 likes. It's not so hard to click. Thank you again, Debbie. Your channel is things that make your nerd heart happy. That is very true. USA girl, I'm sorry I missed you. I mean, you reading stories to us. Yes, I will be reading stories to you here. How old were you when you found your spiritual path, and did you know that was the path for you? You know what? I have been a Satanist for about a decade, and maybe a little over. I was living in San Francisco, and I was an atheist. I still am an atheist. I don't necessarily believe in God or gods. I do believe in energy. That's another story. So it was about 15 years, 10 to 15 years ago that I really started using Satanism as sort of an identifier. It was only really within the last 3 to 5 years that I started doing it for myself and really sort of delving into it. My producer is here. I think she has a question for me.
Dirk wants to know about your experiences on Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures. Oh, thank you, Jordan. Ghost Adventures was really lovely. My very good friend is Patty Negri. You would know her as the White Witch. As she's so lovely. Really, just a dear friend. I'd met her on a podcast through a friend of mine, and we were great friends. So on Ghost Adventures, they had aired an episode about a home that was not haunted. The woman she was harming herself, and there was a lot of attention, and the home was in disrepair. So they asked Patty, they said, "Patty, do you know of some place that is a little higher end, some place that is a little nicer?" And she says, "My friend Richard-Lael, I know exactly the place in Pasadena." And so she called me and said, "Would you like to be on the show?" And I said, "Of course I would. I'm so honored. Thank you so much." And then there were a couple of days of filming. They did a lot of the B-roll, which ironically you didn't see a lot of in the show. But they were so nice to me. They were so kind. Zach walked in. I hadn't seen Ghost Adventures in at least a decade. I don't really watch TV. And so I recognized Zach. I didn't recognize the other fellows. And Zach walks in and he goes, "Wow, yeah, I like this. Wow." He said, "This is kind of what I like for my museum in Vegas." If you haven't seen his paranormal museum in Vegas after the quarantine, do go and check it out. He walked in, he says, "Yeah, this is great." And then he looks over and he says, "This is beautiful. These things are old. Make certain you treat it with respect." They were very kind. They were very gracious. I did have to laugh a little because while I was preparing for the seance, my cup started vibrating because I was thinking so intently about what I was doing. And in the other room, Zach says, we hear the EVP, and it says, "Take a drink." And Zach says, "What? Take a drink of what? Of blood?" And I'm laughing, going, "No, rum. It's rum." What else do we have here? Easter Bunny, hello, hello. "I loved you on Ghost Adventures. That's how I found you. Thank you, Jennifer. She described you as very powerful, and I do not doubt her." Yes, Patty Patty knows very well. We get on so well. I know it would seem like we're on opposite ends because she's a white witch and I'm a Satanist, but really I'm not evil, regardless of how you may view Satanism, regardless of how you may view witchcraft. I'm not evil. I'm really not. I mean, but I am powerful. I have created my own world. I have created a lot of things for a lot of people too. Shelly Hine says, did you enjoy your experiences with Tim Woods also? Yes, Tim is such a dear. He's a friend of a friend. And Tim is he's always welcome here. Sometimes he just comes over and we do seances. It's so delightful. I love it. Saw you on Ghost Adventures. I found you by serendipity. My favorite word. Oh, Delby. For those of you, my friend Delby Nito here, she is my friend. She creates the most lovely pendulums with crystals and all kinds of love that she puts into it. She's sending one to me, and I cannot wait to do a video about that. Devilish says, Zozo, yes, when Tim comes over, he always has interaction with one particular entity, and that is usually Zozo. So the board will go Z-O, 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 Z-O. Now, I'm not afraid of it, but I sit back and I say, oh, goodness, Tim. He's very much afraid. And, you know, I try to soothe his fears. When, during the seance scene in Ghost Adventures, it was so funny because I didn't know Aaron's name. Like I said, I hadn't watched the show in nearly a decade. And it spells out Godwin, and Aaron's eyes got really big, and he says, I'm Goodwin. Does it want to talk to me? And I went, well, let's find out. And yes, sure enough, the entity did want to talk to him. But he told me, he says, you know, I've never touched this. I've never played with the Ouija board. I've always been kind of cautious, but here I feel really safe. Feel really safe. I'm thankful Zach did the episode and I found your channel. It's been delightful to have your energy. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. It was really enjoyable experience. I really enjoyed them. I have nothing but respect for them. And I will tell you this, as the boys are, they get called bro a lot, and they get called dude a lot, and they get sort of that, people think they're faking, they're not. What they're reacting to is real. I speak this by firsthand. They did not manipulate one thing. That is not their game. They are overreactive, but it is television, and they are entertaining, and they are wonderful. I really enjoyed them so much. Jordan says I should go live more often. Thank you. I actually will be going live much more regularly. The thing is, I can't do it from my phone. Now, this computer is my friend, my producer's, and the problem is, I can't go live from the phone because I need more viewers. I need more airtime on my channel. So as I get more airtime, I will go live more and more frequently, and we'll talk about anything. Cheney, who cares, says, you must have an awesome cupboard. I have several cupboards. I have a magical cupboard over here that is filled with oils and potions, and I have all kinds. I have other ones over here. Oh, my wardrobe. Yes, I have several of those too. I have fashion has always been a passion of mine, and I will tell you, when I was a kid, when I was a young person, I always was eccentric, and this is who I wanted to be when I was little. And I would go through phases of my life where I would just be myself. And then I would go, oh, but people might laugh. And then I would sort of shrink back into a corner like this. And then I would find that I was miserable and people would still laugh. So I remember when I was 15, I'd found a powdered wig, and I powdered it, and I tied doilies to my wrists, and I went to go out of the house, and my mother says, where do you think you're going? Now, mind you, she's the one that made my vampire cape around the same time. I had this big vampire cloak, and I said, I'm going out. She says, no, you're not like that. I have stood by. I have let you wear capes, and I have let you wear spats, and this is too much, even for me. I said, but this is how I feel. She says, no, No, people laugh at you already, and I will not have them do that with you now. I said, well, one day I will. One day I will wear these things. She says, well, when you are old enough, you can. And I actually do on occasion don those things, not as much. Jordan Duck says, I love your Satan painting. Thank you. I'll show you right there. That's my Satan painting. It actually happened kind of in a funny way because I love this picture and it makes me smile when I see it. I was living in Hollywood and I went out because I was bored. So what are you going to do? You put on horns and, wear red and it's fun. And my friend happens by and she says, oh my God, you look amazing. You have to let me take your picture. And I went, no, this is silly. She says, no, I love it. I said, okay, take the picture. She took the picture and to my surprise, I actually did love it. I loved it so much that I digitally altered it to look like a painting on my phone. And then I loved that so much that I put it on my business cards as a joke. People would say, well, I want this from you, but I can't afford to pay you. And I would say, that's fine. You can have it in exchange for your immortal soul, which was a joke. And it made me laugh. Well, last year, maybe 2 years ago, I built an Addams Family model, both of the exterior and of the interior. And when I did the interior, I was looking for paintings for this house. And there was my business card, and it was the right size. So a little more time went by, and I thought, I really want to have a painting of myself, vain as it may be. I want a painting of myself. And I got online, I contacted these people from China, and they had this beautiful 18th century portrait of a prince or something. And I said, put my head on that, because I switched phones from Apple to Android, and I didn't have the same editing software. So I have a hair in my mouth. I didn't have the same editing software. And so they sent me back the mock-up, and it was lousy. My face was tiny and crooked. And they said, if you love it, we'll make certain to go ahead and start. And I went, no. Just paint this. If you're doing a reading for someone and the line and they have the spirits around them, can you communicate with the spirits also? That's a fine line, because sometimes I can see spirits as I'm seeing a corporeal person in the flesh. Sometimes I can sense things. Sometimes I don't. I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Tinker Johnson says, I let my daughter go through her phases of style. That's really the best thing to do with a child. Let them experiment. Let them figure it out. I have a friend, Gahan, whom I love so very dearly, and we go out, and he's usually very casual, and he says to me, sweetie, you are so well dressed that if you were anybody else, I would feel really uncomfortable, but it's just you, and I love you, and it makes me happy. And I said, truly, I love that you're comfortable with me. And, I do ask that in my seances that people do dress up a little bit more, because I feel like it adds to the ambiance and the feeling. But as far as in your personal life, I may not like what you have to wear. I may not ever wear it myself, but truly, as long as you're happy and you're not offending anybody, great. I mean, offense can be great too. Don't get me wrong on that. That's another story for another thing. Sweet Sierra 95 says, you look devilishly handsome as always. How's the weather? It's raining where I am now. It is raining. Oh, it is raining. I love the rain. I wish you could see it, but this window is blocking it. It's a beautiful stained glass window from New Orleans. Dwayne Morgan says, how do you develop your psychic abilities? Well, I'm going to tell you how I did it. I am going to, however, tell you that to everyone, it is different. Every person on their magical journey, it's all different for everybody. For me, my parents were Pentecostal. I told you that. My mother is Native American. She had been very spiritual, and she had for a long time, people would say, well, what do you think of such and such? And she would say, I don't know, let me go dream about it. And she would dream, and she would say, this is what I saw. And then people started calling her witch, and she was terrified of going to hell. On my father's side, they were French Protestants. They arrived here in the 15th century before the United States was formed as the United States. The continent of North America was here. But they were French Protestants, and they were spiritual in and of themselves. So for me, it was sort of a bloodline. But that having a bloodline makes it easier. It does, however, require a lot of things. Number one, speaking with boldness, understanding who you are. It does require a lot of intense meditation. You have to be in a state where you are open, where you say, okay, I welcome you. I welcome the spirits. I welcome the energies. I welcome. And that's what I've had to do. Dwayne also, your nude photos look lovely, by the way. Thank you. I'm going to tell you, Dwayne, about that too. As much as I love clothing, but I would actually be a nudist. I think the human body at any weight, at any stage, is beautiful. I feel like, when it's appropriate for adults, watch your porn and have sex and do those things. But I feel like even appropriate nudeness is beautiful. It's a form of art. That's what I think. You also asked, Dwayne, are dreams connected to the psychic abilities? It can be. That's what I can tell you. Dreams can be attached to the psychic abilities. Because when we sleep, our heart rate slows, our breathing slows, we are paralyzed, and many believe that the veil between the living and the dead is very thin. So it is in those dreams that, if for no other reason, you can get insight to yourself. You can get insight to who you are, to your world around you. It can actually help you in your waking world. What do I do in my free time? I don't really have free time, but I don't really not have free time. I know that sounds really strange. So people are asking, how are you surviving this coronavirus, this quarantine? And I go, outside of me going to my hosting gig 2 and 3 nights a week, my life hasn't really changed. I will tell you one thing that has changed is in my free time, I love to go to thrift stores. I love to go to antique stores. When I walk in, I can feel. Sometimes I'll go, oh, there's something over here that I need to rescue. And I walked over one day to a rack of clothing, and I put my hand out like that. And when I drew it back, I had found a turn of the century waistcoat, and it fit me perfectly. So that's what I do with my free time. I paint. Also, I create models, miniature models. I read a lot. I read on the occult, and I read not only for you on the internet world, but I also read personally for myself. I study. I listen to music. I go for walks. I drive my roadster. That's kind of what I do. I lose at chess. My friend Devilish says I lose at chess. Yes, Dev, you are very true. I'm not a very good chess player, but I don't like to lose. So I've been playing on my phone so that when she's here, I can maybe win. Has there ever been a time you've been possessed during a spiritual communion? Yes, there is. A funny thing is, I had a seance. These ladies asked about contacting a loved one, and I said, okay, we can do that. I'll give you a great rate. They come in. These ladies had readings from me for some time. That was just what they did. They had readings from me, and the house is dark, and there's organ music playing, and the candles are flickering, and I have on the table my Ouija board, and I have my tarot cards, my defining rods. I have my pendulum, all sort of many of these tools out, and they're gulping and taken aback, and they put their hands on the board, and they say, "Is it evil? Is it black magic?" And I went, no. Are your thoughts dark? Then if not, then it's not dark magic. So, light as a feather, light as a feather, light as a feather. So when I'm doing the seance, I actually go through a couple of energies. One of my favorite to go through is Papa Legba. He's a gatekeeper. And so he's known as a trickster, and he can unlock the door to the spirit world. So I go through the ceremony, I have the whole thing, and then I close them out, and I normally take time to sort of come back to myself. But my friend Chadwick, my friend said, "Hey, I'm in the area. Can I come over?" And I said, "Sure." I was so possessed, and I kept telling him the entire, like, he says, "We really can't stay long." And I went, "It is only 10 o'clock, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning." And he went, I've never seen you like this. I don't know. And then I would be pouring them drinks, and I would be, "No, it is only 10 o'clock, and you will wake refreshed." It was, silly. What type of music do you listen to in your free time? I listen to a variety of music. I mostly listen to classical music. It's so soothing to me. But I listen to world music, and I listen to, if I'm really feeling modern, I might listen to some jazz, like 1920s jazz, maybe 1930s. That doesn't really hit me a lot. Sometimes when I'm really feeling kind of excitable, I might even listen to something as far as the 60s, 70s, or 80s. But usually I stick to about the 1938 being sort of the most recent. Verbal King, do you consider Satanism as religion? Yes, I do view Satanism as a religion. It may be an anti-religion, but it is a religion nonetheless. And I feel like that if you're going to give credence to one group of people that has strange beliefs, then you should say, okay, then everybody who has strange beliefs can be a religion. So yes, it is a religion. It's also a way of life. It is also a view of how one feels and what yes, it is a religion. It's an anti-religion religion. Crystals asks me, have you ever done work with a black mirror? And if so, did it do well for you? I have done some scrying. It is not my favorite form, but I will tell you, I have a witch friend who came over, and she says, it's so funny. She takes my mirror. She says, it's so funny. I can see everything. I can see you. I can see myself, but I can't see these little things over here. And I said, hand them to me. So she says, okay, hand them to her. She and her partner were here. They had both complimented this thing that was sitting over there. And I said, you know why? You've both complimented this. The reason it was not in the black mirror is because these go home with you. These are special. They go home with you. So that's how. What are your preferred books on the occult? Okay, so that's a very good question, Jennifer. There are so many. I love to read Aleister Crowley's Book of Thoth. I have read, my goodness, I'm trying to think now. There's so many. My mind is drawing a blank, but there will be a video on that. I will get back to you because I've got so many things there. Verbal King, and you have some typical restrictions, like not eating some type of food or something, by the way. I love how you look. Thank you. You know what? I don't really have any restrictions. I believe that Satanism, to me, is not about restricting oneself. I do, however, believe that when you are trying to communicate, there are things. I don't really drink. I may have a glass once in a while. I don't drink because it never really makes me feel good. And also, long story in a dream, I'll make it a short one. I had an encounter with Friedrich Nietzsche, and that was when I went, okay, you know what? I don't even like drinking. Dwayne says, do you believe Satan is the being that is with us on earth? Dwayne, I don't actually believe in Satan. I don't believe in Satan. I do believe in interdimensional beings. I believe that is possible. I believe that there is alien life out there, but Satan as an entity, no. I don't actually believe in a physical devil. I don't believe in a physical God. I don't believe in a physical devil. Satan is more representational. For me, he represents taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for your actions, being bold with who you are. That's what I see there. So no, I don't view the devil as being here. You're welcome, Jennifer. You're most welcome. What is it like dating a Satanist? Dwayne, thank you for that question. Frankly, I don't know how to tell you that. I have been single for a long time, for at least nearly a decade. I've been single, and people say, "Well, why have you been single?" I just, I don't know. It's not really been something that I have been pursuing. So I don't know what it's like to date a Satanist. Let's see what else we have here. How do you describe God from a satanic perspective? Thank you, Verbal King. Okay, I don't believe in God per se. I believe in energies. I do not believe in the Abrahamic faith. I find the Abrahamic faith, now I don't speak for all Satanists, I don't speak for all religions, I only speak for myself. I view the Abrahamic deities, Yahweh, Jesus, Allah, as barbaric and cruel and racist and sexist. I view them, in the Bible, it talks about being able to trick your friend or your people into slavery. Otherwise, you could have slavery of all of the other people around you, and you could do whatever you want with them. But you could actually trick someone into being your slave, and you could bore through their ear, and I mean terrible things, mutilation. And the whole idea of crucifixion too. Jesus gave up a weekend. He's immortal. He gave up a weekend. So I view it as barbaric.
You keep knocking the table.
Oh, my producer says I'm knocking the table. This is a very peculiar table, my friends, because the floor is slightly off, and also it's got, oh goodness, how many legs is it?
8.
8 legs. It's an octagon shaped. Anyway, yes, thank you. What is the best way for someone to tap their spiritual gifts? Thank you, Dwayne. Meditation is really important. Meditation, self-awareness is important. Being who you are is really important. I would recommend automatic writing. I would recommend yoga. Yoga is so important because it helps connect the breathing. Karma Laglis says, Richie, I love you. I have missed your beautiful face. Thank you for the compliment. On that, my lovely Karma, I will tell you, I do not any longer use the name Richie. I will tell you the reason, actually, briefly. So I was born Richard-Lael Lillard. That was how I was born. And for a long time, it was that people felt comfortable with me, and people wanted to, and I accepted it. And I felt weird, and I didn't know how to change. I even changed the name to Jonathan for a while. It didn't really, nothing really fit, because my father was Richard. My father, a good man, my father was Richard. And I didn't want to be called Richard, but I didn't want to be called Rich. And I didn't really want to be called Richie, but I just kind of went with it. So now I go by Richard-Lael Lillard, because Richard is Middle English. It means powerful ruler. Lael is ancient Aramaic, which means of God, chosen of God. The surname of Lillard is a derivative Lolard, which means heretic, witch, opposer of the faith, accuser of the brethren. So altogether, as I have matured, I have decided that now I am going to be Richard-Lael as one name, Richard-Lael Lillard as my full name. Jennifer Norman, I just love you. We see things very similarly. You have the best energy. Thank you, my lovely friend. I appreciate that. Karma Leglis says, I feel it is the law of attraction. You are correct. It is very much a law of attraction. Do you believe in miracles, and have you ever been a part of it? Miracles. That's a very touchy subject. Have I seen things that could not be explained by science? Yes, absolutely. There are things 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago that science could not explain, and they saw it as miracles. I do believe that the power of the mind is greater than we give it credit. I do believe that if one thinks they are healed, they begin to work that way. Karma says, they always say, be careful what you wish for. That is a very good point. I'm going to tell you a personal story to me about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, I was living in Hollywood. I was pursuing acting in those days. I am not pursuing it now. If it falls, it falls. I don't care. But 5 years ago, I was driving in my Roadster. I had a little classic antique car. It was a reproduction. It was a kit car. It was made of fiberglass, had a Volkswagen engine, and I loved that little car. I loved it. And I was driving along one day feeling sorry for myself that I had not attained what I had wanted to attain. And I felt the spirit, I felt in my mind, I heard this voice, and she says to me, "You said this car was going to make you happy, doesn't it?" And I said, "Forgive me. Yes, it does make me happy. I love this car." She says, "Look at that man over there. He doesn't have any car, much less one that he asked for. And he's getting on a bus because he's tired. He doesn't have a place to sleep. Where do you live?" And I went, "Right there." She said, "Yeah, you asked for that. Remember how you walked in? You said, 'I will live here.'" I went, "Yeah." She said, "Remember how you asked for the furniture and you got it?" "Yeah." "Remember how when you were a kid, you said you were going to travel and be treated like a rock star and people treated you like Freddie Mercury?" And I went, "That's not what I meant." She says, "What you asked for." So long story short, she ends up by telling me everything that she says, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" And everything that I said, she didn't, she would rebut, "Well, you already did that. You already did that. You already did that. So be careful what you ask for." A Verbal King, how do you think is exorcism real? I believe the power of the mind can create some wonderful things. I find it amusing that people who do not believe in the devil don't get possessed by the devil. Oftentimes you find where there is abuse in exorcisms, you feel like there are people like the exorcism of Emily Rose and the ones that inspired The Exorcist, etc., etc., etc. I do feel that there's a lot at play here. Okay, so I do believe energies exist, and I do believe that energies have to be treated respectfully. Someone is trying to FaceTime me from San Francisco. I don't know who that is. I am going to answer it because I don't know who it is. Oh no, it's actually from Missouri. Hello? Hi, darling. I can't chat right now. I'm so sorry. Can I call you back in about 20 minutes?
Yes, that'd be perfect.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry, I forgot. I had promised. I promised someone. That was actually a friend of mine. That was what that was. Karma Lagla says, "Just the fact that you are yourself and still here and alive and beautiful is a beautiful miracle." That's a very sweet thing to say. Thank you. "You would have played Freddie Mercury to a T." Oh, yes. You know what? I knew about that film for over a decade, and it just wasn't my time. Freddie Mercury and we have a very similar energy. I love Freddie. He came to me a lot when I was growing up after his death. I didn't even know who he was. I love Freddie. I'm grateful, though, now that I can play myself. That's the most important thing. Mr. Schultz says, "You're kind of a creepy dude." Yeah, I can say that. I actually laughed with a friend of mine as I was going out for a walk. I put on my big hooded cloak and my big collar, and I'm wearing red leather gloves. And this is evening. This is late at night. And I'm going for a late night walk. And I turned to my friend and said, if I were one of the normies, if I were one of those people, I would be watching and hiding my children, and I would never harm anybody, but I would be calling the police because that's really weird. Yeah, I'm creepy, I'm weird, I'm a lot of things. But you know what? I've grown to accept it, because I will tell you, I spent a lot of time trying to be what everybody wanted me to be. And it never made me happy. Not 1 second did it ever make me happy. I've been myself. Like I said, I started off when I was a kid wanting to be this. I wanted to see this when I grew up. And people would inevitably, they would laugh. And so I'd go, "Oh no, oh don't, oh no." So I would try to. I remember I was about 13 And I was trying to be so machismo and trying to not be the weird, effeminate, flamboyant person that I am. So I tried. And I walked around the corner and I heard someone talking about me to someone else. And they said, "Did you see the way he walks? It's like this." And it was like a pin. And then I realized no matter what I do, I can't make people happy. I moved here and I went on a date with this guy who was a writer for the Golden Girls, I think is what his claim to fame was. And I showed up and he says, nobody will take you seriously. You might play a drag queen, but that's it. If I were you, I would only wear black shirts and dark jeans and nothing else. And you know what? I was trying to pursue acting, and I did. I did actually do that. I did. And I was miserable. I was so miserable. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Eclectic, however you spell it, and wonderful and a beautiful soul. Thank you so much. Never can judge people by the way they dress. Yes and no. I mean, sometimes you can judge a book by its cover, but not always. Jordan Duck says, you are who you are. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. I'm going to manifest to meet you. Brilliant. Nicola Mann says, have you ever been physically attacked by a spirit? You know, I usually keep myself pretty protected. I will tell you, years and years ago, I was on a tour of an old haunted theater on Route 66, the Coleman Theater in Miami, Oklahoma. Going on the tour, and I walked into this room. This is before I really accepted what I do as a psychic. I walked in, I went, nope, I can't go in there. There's something I can't. And the guy who was giving me the tour said, well, I'll give you a flashlight. Why don't you want to go in? I said, no, I physically can't go in there. He said, well, that's really funny. We've had psychics that go in there and they say, nope, and they back out. They say there's something, we can't go in there. I have seen things, I have felt things, but I've been attacked by people more than I have been attacked by spirits. Verbal King says, I always thought differently about Satanism, but after Jubilee, I think you are really lovely people. Thanks for your answers. Have to sleep now. Is this live? Stay on the channel. Yes, I will keep this up on the channel, I believe. I am very new to the live YouTube thing, so I believe I'll keep it up. I really appreciate you, Verbal King. I really appreciate you watching me and on Jubilee Media. Speaking in tongues, Jubilee Media. Mr. Schultz, I just watched the Jubilee video. You were in my curiosity. The best of me. You seem like an interesting dude, although we're very different. I think you seem like you're pretty nice. Take care. That was very kind of you. Thank you, Mr. Schultz. I appreciate that. Did the circus of kids quiet down upstairs? Thank you, Shelley. No, they haven't. I can't even. I feel like I'm in a war zone. Well, those on my Facebook, you know. When you use pendulums, do you use the energy to get an answer? I just started to use them, but I'm not sure who's answering me or if it's just my inner self answering myself. Do you know about that? Sundus Ahmed. Sundus Ahmed, it does take a lot of intense training. The main thing to do is to eliminate any sort of external force, practice alone, talk to your pendulum, get to know it, feel it, know it, cleanse it, keep it in the window, keep it in a box, keep it under your pillow, whatever you may do, find ways to connect with your pendulum. It is your guide. You are still invited to visit Canada. Oh, thank you. I really do want to go to Canada. Karma, oh my God, I know that feeling too. Some dark places are too dark. Yes. Thank you for sharing your stories and experiences with us. Thank you, Connie. You're very welcome. Karma says, I can't go inside certain houses either. Yeah, some places you walk in and you're hit with this and you just can't. I can't go inside certain houses either. Yeah, that would, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this. Gretelm Smargwald. Hi from Europe. You are so intriguing, and I'm excited to see where this channel is going. I have so much growing and starting self-love to do. I think there's a lot to learn from you. Thank you very much. That was very generous. I appreciate your comments. Karma, I'm no longer on Facebook. It's scary nowadays. Oh, Facebook. Oh, I know it is scary. It's a scary world. I have to keep mine up. I have the Gentleman Psychic, which anybody can follow me. I'm nearly at capacity on friends list, so I do ask that you join me on the Gentleman Psychic. You can join me here. That's the most important thing. I'm interactive on both, so please make certain you follow both, and you can follow the Gentleman Psychic. Let's see, where am I? Praexis, Pyrexis. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names. Have you done astral projection? And if so, do you have any interesting stories from your experiences? Yes, I have astral projected. I mostly do it in my sleep, and I have encountered some of the most amazing minds this world has ever offered, present, past, future. I'm going to tell you, in one dream, I projected where I encountered Gutenberg, the inventor of the printing press, Nikola Tesla, Marie Curie, Albert Einstein. That was quite interesting. I met Hillary Clinton once after the election. So yeah, lots of, I've astral projected to a lot of people, a lot of places. Karma says, thank you for showing me the proper spellings. My pleasure. I appreciate you. Jordan Duck says, has your producer ever been affected by anything in your home? My producer is so lovely. She's a very good friend. Not the one that you would see. That's not my producer on Ghost Adventures. That's not my friend. She's not my friend, not my producer. But my friend and producer is here, and she is my friend. I joined your Facebook today. Thank you very much, Tinker Johnson. I live in Altadena, a huge fan. Eventually, I will come and get a reading. Keep it up. Currently in New York, helping as a medic. Oh, bless you. That's so lovely. Nat, I do offer readings now that we're all under quarantine via video, so we can communicate. It'll be private, not on here. Aaron, I love your stuff. Blessed be. Blessed to you. Hit the like button, please. Thank you, Debbie. You are my. I love you, Debbie. You are really you are my cheerleader. Karma says, my daughter woke up with a huge mark of a hand on her back to the front of the chest, long fingers. Yes, that can be a very scary situation. That's a multi-part thing. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and you have to there are ritualistic protections that you have to do. We'll discuss that later. Debbie Nito, it's like my mom spending $500 to do my hippie room, walked in and accused me of smoking pot. Oh, that was later. My daughter is gay, and I could not be more proud. I love her, period. That is a charming and funny story. Parents can be very strange things. My mom knows I'm gay. Yeah, I'm gay, by the way. My mother knows it, but we don't talk about it. She doesn't. She knows that she knows that I do these things, but we don't talk about it. She's about to turn 81, my mom. There is something about the chair you are sitting on. Yes, Karma Legless. There's a lot about this chair. Where I got this chair was on eBay, the wonderful world of eBay. I got it out of Orange County. It originally came from Beverly Hills. The long story short, it dates from at least the 1880s, and it was put in a basement in a cellar in Beverly Hills. And this family bought the home in 1964. Then the kid inherited it as he grew up. He loved the chair. He still loved the chair. Moved in with his daughter. She hated it. Anyway, it became mine. It is very old. Yes, it is very old. Canny, who cares? Yes, Channy, who cares? Well, I would like to stick around, but I'm getting tired, so I have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate you. Like button, please. Thank you so much. Sundus Ahmed, are you using a green screen? The background is pretty cool. No. This is my home. I live here. I'm knocking things over, but I live here. This is my home. Karma says, we went to a ceremony in a sweat lodge. We had a bad spirit in our house that is trying to control us. That can very well be. When people open themselves up, you have to be very careful. When I started in my magical practice, I was a teenager and, questioning, but still absorbing and opening and creating. And I opened a lot of doors that now, as a mature man, I would never have opened. But I would say, oh, everybody can communicate. You can all talk to me. It's okay. Yes, talk to me. Talk to me. Oh, yes. And then strange things started happening. I would start hearing voices, and there would be thumping. I mean, it was a bad thing. So yes, be careful what doors you open. Yes, thank you, Debbie. It is my actual background. I do live in an 1890 Victorian house, and I collect antiques. The window, for instance, this is from New Orleans, from a church that was destroyed by one of the hurricanes. I don't remember which. This was salvaged. The church, it was built in about 1898, so that window is from there. Your aura is light, bright blue with a hint of pink around the edges. Thank you. You know, I am so honored. I really am. Maybe folks need to email you about that. Lots of stagnant energy right now that can turn bad. Yes, that's a good point. My producer saying to me, yes, you can find me, thegentlemanpsychic.com, email me there. We can have discussions. We can talk one-on-one, make certain that you include lots of things. I asked the creator the other day, where is Richie-Lillard? And you're here. Well, again, Karma, thank you. I'm not Richie anymore. For those of you who knew me, I so appreciate you calling me Richie. I appreciate all of the love, but I no longer use the moniker of Richie. Richie is a dead name to me. So please now, if you do address me, my first name is Richard-Lael. My second name, my surname is Lillard. Richard-Lael Lillard. That is who I am now. That's what I have decided to become. That's how I feel. It's my real name, but I love it. Laura Leah G says, you're so wise and lovely that I get hooked on your videos, and now my boyfriend watches you as well. Oh, thank you, Laura, and much love to your lovely boyfriend. I am so truly honored. Thank you so much. Debbie, once again, he's very debonair, classy, and nostalgic. I love you, my friend. You mean so much. No, Karma, it's really quite all right. Truly. I just will correct a couple of times. It's just I ask that people get used to calling me Richard-Lael. I have people, I can't even change it on Google. That's because I started this channel way back when I was in San Francisco, and I was going by Richie then. I'm not, but anyway, you don't have to apologize. Just it takes some getting used to, I know. And people get stuck on the Lael part. Lael, Richard-Lael. So again, it becomes easier, like Elizabeth. It's it's not so difficult. Normal Psycho says, how are you today? I am doing very well. Thank you so much. I am so I it's raining in Pasadena, and I just had some tea. I really would like to go to the market. I don't want to put on a mask, and I also don't want to deal with Easter people. Anyway, yes, my friend Dev says, all hail Richard-Lael. It makes it easier to remember. Thank you. It is my birth name. Richard-Lael Lillard is my birth name. And I had a laugh. Now, this was, 15 years ago. I had a laugh with my mother. I said, Mother, you named me the Antichrist. She said, don't say that. I said, I didn't name me. It's what the name means. Powerful ruler, chosen of God to oppose the faith. I'm sorry, I didn't name you that. So that's what it was. Jordan Duck says, hail back. Shelley Haynes says, it's true that it is not good to let others use your pendulum. I was told it messes with the energy. I would say, Shelley, you can decide. It works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. I have had situations where I was in one situation, the person they wanted to contact only wanted to speak Spanish because that was what she knew in life. I didn't know how to respond. She couldn't understand me. So I passed it off, and I said, here, you speak. And then she would ask the questions, and it was the answers were coming. And she left, and she said, yes, that was exactly what I needed. That was my grandmother. Thank you, Karma. Again, all hail Richard-Lael. Alchemy says, hi, Richard-Lael. Greetings from Greece. Sorry, didn't know. Do you believe dreams are deeper experiences, or are they just work of the subconscious? I think it's both. I think to discount the subconscious and discount dreams as being prophetic, I think it would lead to folly. Now, I personally have traveled, I've experienced things, I've seen things in dreams, and as an artist, there's so many things that have been inspired by dreams. One of my own things that I am working into reality came from a dream. So it can be predictive, but it can also be your subconscious telling you, hey, work on this. Thank you, Debbie. Like, subscribe, and share. I love your reminders. You are so wonderful to me. Karma, I'm always dreaming of my partner leaving me. Help. That can be a lot of personal things. That's something that you're going to have to talk to me a little bit later. That can be a little bit more personal, because sometimes it's your own fears that are manifesting, and then those manifestations can actually produce those results. There's a lot to that. www.thegentlemanpsychic.com. Thegentlemanpsychic.com. You definitely want to do that. So do you recommend any other sources to further look into empath psychic skills? Shui Chen. Yes, I would recommend. There's a lot of charlatans out there. Who would I recommend? Goodness. You know what? I'm going to have to come up and think about these things, because that's or right offhand. I can't really think. I don't want to give you the wrong thing. I just will tell you, be careful. Use your own intellect. Use your own judgment. Use your own spirit. That's the most important thing. Blue Mermaid, can you teach me more about satanic? I just watched your video with Jubilee, and I'm interested. I want to know more, please, and thank you. Yes. Blue Mermaid, I have a series that I'm running about Satanism, and it's really, like I said, I don't speak for everybody. I don't speak for all Satanists. I speak for myself. I speak for what works for me, and the videos that I put on there, you can watch them. I hope you learn from them right here on this channel. Like Debbie says, like and subscribe. So yes, thank you very much, Debbie. I do have videos on that very subject. I certainly do. Ryan Hazley says, hey, you are a special soul. I'm glad I made the live. I am so glad you are here too. I am working on trying to do this more frequently. I want so much to answer your questions and make you feel comfortable and at home. Now, on my videos, they are fun and exciting and silly and informative. Some of them are more silly. Some of them are more serious. This is just a way so you can get to know me, so that you can sort of say, yeah, you know what? He's not so evil. Though I laugh at the thought. Yes, you're very welcome. Love mermaids. That's a good one. And thank you, Blue Mermaid. What time is it, my beauties? Here it is, 3:30. Kendall Brenneman. Okay. You make bigger impact than you realize. I appreciate that, Normal Psycho. I am waking up to that fact. I didn't always know. Even at school, when I was a kid, I was weird and eccentric, and I was strange, and I was teased frequently. But at the same time, there were those that I would encourage to be themselves. I would encourage them to breathe. I would encourage them to wear whatever they wanted. And looking back now, there have been people who have come to me and said, you really have changed my life. And I really am so honored. I literally stopped studying my finals to watch you. Oh, well, I won't keep you too much longer. I promise I won't keep you too much longer. Debbie says, hit the like button, please. And thank you. Yes, do hit the like button. That really helps me out tremendously. Is it true that some of us were born with strong psychic abilities? I have always felt spirits around me, but I'm kind of afraid of them, honestly. Yes. There are, I liken it to this. Anyone can learn to play the piano. Anyone can learn to paint a picture. There are, however, people that are born with natural talent, and it makes those things a lot easier for them. So, can you be born with it? Yes. Do you feel spirits around you? More than likely you do. It is a lot to unpack there. And as far as being afraid, that it can be very overwhelming. It can be frightening. Spirits oftentimes will come to you and it will seem scary because they don't know how to communicate, and sometimes they're trying to warn you. The main thing is that you maintain your composure, maintain your strength, maintain who you are, and remember my video of Fear Not. You can go over there and watch that now. fear not. Have no fear. Because remember, it is you who is the practitioner. Share and subscribe. Also, I love you too, Richard. Richard-Lael, if you please. But yes, Debbie, I love you, my friend. You mean so much to me. Hi from Bulgaria. Do you think there is something more in always having nightmares? Thank you for putting yourself out here and sharing your experience. You look fabulous right now, and love for everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. As far as nightmares go, that seems to me that there needs to be some sort of controlling. Your spirit world is trying to balance that with you. It is trying to be your, it is trying to protect you. Sometimes things that we're afraid of are actually there for a reason. So email me, thegentlemanpsychic.com. We can figure things out. That there can be things in the corporeal world and the spirit world that can cause nightmares. I will be your mom. Well, okay. I would rather you be my friend, Debbie, but you could be whatever moniker you wish to be for me. Ryan Hazley gives me a heart to you. Chowsy Chan says, is there a spell method you would recommend to block bad intentions, ill will? That's a very good one. One of the things that there are two spells that I regularly go to. One is a mirror spell, which will reflect all negative energy back. The other one is the freezer spell. When there is negative energy, I bind them in a red cord, put them in a freezer bag, put it with water, and I put them in the freezer and I say, slow down. Another one is there's candle magic, which I also do. For protection, yes. For protection, it can be anything, really. This is, again, all about your personal walk, your personal intention. That's what I would say. So there's sea salt methods, and there is, some people will have a golden ball they picture. Some people have a ball of energy. It's all very personal. We'll do some videos on these. Ryan Hazley says, your house is beautiful decor. What was the inspiration? My inspiration, thank you for the compliment. My house is decorated in early American mortuary, early American funeral home. I don't know. Since I was a kid, I've always loved antiques. I've always loved the dark. Though there have been times when I've lived in a more Art Deco place and it reflected that. Also, I love the Addams Family, and they really speak a lot to me. So there's a lot of Addams Family-esque things that are here. Crystal Welty says, the mirror spell is my fave. Very good. Jennifer Norman says, love a freezer spell. Me too. Thank you. Chowsy Chan, you're welcome. Alchemy, I am very much struggling with direction currently. I fell. That is a hard thing to say. Alchemy, I know it can be a struggle. I know direction can be strange. I know it can be heartbreaking and troubling. With that, I would recommend going to thegentlemanpsychic.com. Send me a message there. We'll see what we can do at that point. Ryan Hazley says, I love the Addams Family so much. I love them. They represent to me the ideal for what I want to be in my own world. From 1938 all the way through, the Addams Family accepts people and they welcome people and they love to be themselves and they don't care what you have to say about them. They just want to be happy because life is short, and they want to support their children, even if it means playing baseball. They accept and they love, and that is really what I aspire to be. Let's see. Pyrexius, could we have a house tour at some point? Yes. Once I have everything back in order, I have all of my lights. I don't have any studio lights. I wish I could show you. I don't have any studio lights, but I have these antique lamps dating from, my goodness, my God, maybe 1910, 1928, 1960. I've got these, so they're all lighting me up right now so that you can see me. But there will be, once I get more subscribers, I will do a video tour on my phone, and I'll walk through and then I'll show you. Alchemy, I feel very lost. How would you recommend I cope with it all, with this? All love. Alchemy, it is a tough situation. Feeling lost is natural. The main thing that I would recommend to you, without knowing much of the situation, is to go into a quiet place, to meditate, to breathe, inhale through the nose, hold it, exhale through the mouth. When you exhale through the mouth, you are pushing away negative energy. I would also recommend to you that you draw or create a vision board. I know it can be really, you can feel really lost. You can feel really alone, and it can be very scary. Meditation is most key. Breathing is so essential. Blue Mermaid says you look like Johnny Depp. Thank you. The funny thing is, I used to play Willy Wonka for a very long time. I love Willy Wonka. That's another inspiration for me. So yes, I love Willy Wonka, and I love Johnny Depp, brilliant actor. And it's the Native American, because like I said, my mother's Cherokee, his mother's Cherokee, and it's really these cheekbones. There's also now that if I were to do that, I might look a little like a pirate. Upshot on Insta to show the lights. Put a shot up on Insta to show the lights. Oh yeah, I can show the lights on Instagram. I can do that. Is mirror scrying dangerous? Yes and no. Any form of spirit communication can open doors. You have to be welcome. You have to be. You have to have a sense of quiet. You have to have a sense of responsibility. And remember, you are interacting with them as a guest. You want to make certain that you are polite and graceful. They will in turn be polite and graceful. Matthew Griffin says, looking good. Thank you. I'm honored. Debbie Nito says, Blue Mermaid, isn't he adorable? Oh, shucks. You make me smile. Thank you, Debbie. Pyraxis, yay, you're so cool. I appreciate it. Debbie Nito, I meant I would be your other mother from a previous comment. I love that. Thank you, my darling. Normal Psycho, you seem to know who you are and admire that. Thank you. It took a lot of... well, the thing is, Normal Psycho, it's like going through fire. What doesn't destroy you makes you stronger. It's like the pressure of the coal, the pressure of the earth on coal becomes a diamond. So, yeah, it can make you more who you are. Yeah, so that's where I've been. We are going to be reading some stories on here, all kinds of stories. Usually, I read a lot of Victorian stories because it's sort of my whole aesthetic. So that's what we'll do. Ryan Hazley says, how would you recommend a young psychic works on balancing and growing their abilities in the current time? Ryan, I would recommend strongly that you meditate, that you create your intent, create a storyboard. Now, for me, I can create models, and I can paint, and I can draw. So you have to visually create something that will inspire you. So you can take pictures out of a magazine, you can cut them out, create a storyboard, something that you can see. And it's all about the focus. It is all about the center, and being able to be real with who you are. It was William Shakespeare that said, to thine own self be true. So meditation, don't just take my word for it. Learn for who you are. Learn from what works for you. Henry Flavius says, I'm very well spoken. Thank you. I am honored. Thank you so much. Hail Satan. Valone Fiend says, Hail Satan. Sundus Ahmed says, are spiders symbol for something? I always wake up screaming, saying there's spiders everywhere. Is that something sitting on my bed? My sister hates it. The thing about spiders is that they represent taking care of oneself. They are very independent. They have the ability to lure. They also renew. They will destroy their work every day and rebuild it afresh. That's so that they can keep alive. They can, and in the words of Morticia Adams, what is chaos for the spider, what is chaos for the fly is normal for the spider. So what is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. That's it. You're very well spoken. Do you like Edgar Allan Poe? Pyraxis, I do like Edgar Allan Poe. There are stories that I really love. The thing about Edgar Allan Poe that I oftentimes reject is that it's so on the nose. people think, oh, you're Victorian and slightly Gothic. I like Edgar Allan Poe, but it really takes a lot of motivation for me. I don't know. That's just what I feel. Alexandra Alexander Kira Vincent, hi from Morocco. Sorry my English is bad, but I can understand. I just want to say I liked your interventions on Jubilee. Thank you very much, Alexander. Your English is lovely, and I am so grateful that you are here. I am so happy to see you. You're welcome, Ryan. Is that 000 or 000? Now I know why I couldn't fall asleep. Happy to be here. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Where did I get the top from? Vlone Fiend. This is, I spoke about it earlier, but I'll tell you again. This is a full-on wedding suit. It's a sherwani in Hindi. I got it from the wonderful world of eBay. And I love these sort of multicultural things. I have a collection of them. I do look a little like a cartoon villain, I'm afraid, but I do love them. Where'd you get the top from? The historical hairdresser. Please show off the attire. Future video idea closet tour showtime about your favorite pieces. Yes. I'm not going to show off the full thing today because I would have to stand up and my table wobbles and I really don't have I feel like the late night hosts that are filming in their attic spaces. Please show off your wardrobe. Oh, favorite pieces. Okay, Chelsea Chan says, how do you feel if when people try to hate on the way of your life? You know, I sometimes will go on if I'm bored and leave comments, but really I don't care. I don't care if they hate my life. I don't care if they hate me. I don't care if they're repulsed. I don't care if they love me. It kind of goes back to I am what I am. I was in a show called Le Cage aux Folles. And one of the main songs is I Am What I Am. And in the song, Alban is this cross-dresser, transvestite drag queen, and is told that the person that they raised as their son they could not go to meet the family of his engaged. And so he's broken and he says, I am what I am. And I bang my own drum and some think it's noise. I think it's pretty. So come take a look. Give me the hook. So I don't care if they like me or they love me. I just have to live. I have to be for me. Debbie Nito again. Like, subscribe, please. Thank you, my lovelies. Do you make your own clothes sometimes? I can sew. I have made my own clothes, but I don't like to sew. I don't know if I have ADHD or I don't know. I can't. I can, but I can't. I just don't enjoy it. How was your experience on Jubilee? I knew you had it figured out. You know what? I love Jubilee Media. I've done 3 things with them. One thing has never aired, and they call me because it's fun and it's entertaining, and they know that I'll give them viewers and people will say all kinds of horrible things, and then it's views. So I love Jubilee Media. They as a company are always gracious to me. And Sean, to clarify, Sean the pastor, he was a nice guy, and we talked, and there was no animosity against we didn't, but I had to speak on Jubilee Media. I had to because I didn't have very much time, and otherwise it was going to be the wonderful world of Jesus, and I knew that we live in a world that is that anyway, and if I didn't say something, that I wouldn't get a chance to. Do you speak any other languages other than English? I speak broken things. I could tell you in several languages. How are you? I don't care. I want your money. That goes way back to when I was a performer. Yeah, so I don't. Richard-Lael, please. Matthew Griffin asks me if I have an altar. Yes and no. I have one up here that is set up with candles and Baphomet and my crystals, but I will tell you, my altar is my life. Everything I do is an altar. It is an altar to beauty, to excitement, to the self. It is a shrine to being who you are. It's a shrine. I love it. La Cage aux Folles is popular in French. La Cage aux Folles. Never waste your good energy on bad people, energy or time. Yes, very good, Debbie. Very, very good. What kind of painting you do? I do horror bloody ones. Well, I do mostly what the French call trompe-l'oeil, to fool the eye. So a lot of mine are architectural elements, though I have done some portraits, but mostly that's what I particularly enjoy. I just joined. What did I miss? Elsa, you have not missed anything. It is so lovely to see your lovely face here. Um, how do you open up and eventually close to over otherworldly energies? Do you have quick methods to open up? Breathing. Inhale through the nose, hold it, exhale through the mouth. It pushes out a lot of negative energy. It pushes away all of that world. It breathes a newness to you. That's what I do. Also, I take ritualistic baths with sea salt and with milk and with honey. And sometimes, if I'm feeling extravagant, with champagne and with lavender and roses. So I've spent sometimes a lot of money on just a bath alone, so it can be very expensive. Portals, by the way, no, your 000. Your English is lovely. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your existence. You are the one who deserves to be followed. Thank you very much, Normal Psycho. I appreciate that. Jordan Duck, have a good evening. Richard-Lael, thank you. Love the stream. I'm so glad you did. Baphomet, yes. I'm going to talk about Baphomet, actually. What genre of movies do you enjoy? Also, with what snack? Oh my goodness. You know what? I love musicals. I love old films. I love the 30s. I love the 20s. I love Hollywood. I love Hollywood history. Sunset Boulevard is one of my favorites. With what snacks? Tea and cookies, I guess. And lots of cheese. My producer says cheese. Yes, I love cheese. Breathing, because why doesn't breathing work for you? Well, I'm going to tell you, because there's a lot of outside distractions. Breathing works for me. What I might recommend for you is automatic writing. Just let your hand write whatever it is that you. Oftentimes, I write S&C scrolls. So that's what I do. Let's see. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Now, my darlings, it is about time. I am so sorry, my lovelies. I am going to have to end this very shortly. I feel like I've been on here for an hour and 17 minutes. I do have a lunch date that I forgot about. And so I have to go on and make some tea with my very good friend. I love you. Good night, good morning, good day, whatever it may be. Make certain you like and subscribe. Make certain you check out for more content. I'm going to be around, so make certain you click the like and subscribe. Love to you. Good night, good night, good night. Good night. Send me messages. I will go now. Good night.
All right.